Today I'm going to prepare a fantastic dinner or lunch recipe for you. In fact, it's so versatile that it works great as an afternoon snack, sometimes for the weekend. A day when we want something different but still want to maintain a healthy diet. And it's super easy to make. Stay till the end, you won't want to miss it. First of all, if you're new, welcome, enjoy, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. I have new tips and recipes every day. You'll love it for sure. I'll remind you ingredients, quantities, nutrition info, and videos are in the description. The first thing I'm going to do is mix our eggs here, break the yolk, so it can already incorporate. If you're still worried about the issue of cholesterol and the number of eggs we can consume per day, I have a video on the channel talking about it, and I'll leave it for you. To these beaten eggs, I'm going to add the olive oil. I'll add just a little bit more water and put the salt here so it can dissolve. I'm going to add the baking powder right away because normally, if we add it at the end, it can form lumps and then it ruins the recipe. It's harder to dissolve, so by adding it earlier, as we add the rest of the ingredients, it will be well incorporated later. If it looks like this now, it's not a problem. Now let's add the oat flour, which I'll add gradually here. Oat flour is a very interesting option instead of regular wheat flour because it has more protein, more fiber, so its glycemic index is lower. It also contains beta-glucan, which helps lower cholesterol. You can see that the baking powder is already much more mixed in, and we'll keep adding the oat flour. I'm also going to add a bit of light mozzarella here, but you can use the cheese of your choice. If you don't want to use any cheese, that's fine too, but it does help bind the recipe together, adds a bit of salt and a different flavor, so I think it's worth it. Back now, I've organized everything and got the ingredients for my filling, which will be delicious but much healthier. Usually, in fillings for recipes like this, many people use Calabrian sausage. I'm going to use chicken breast here, already cooked and shredded. If you want to keep using sausage, you can, but then make my recipe from the channel, which will be a much healthier and easier recipe to make it. The shredded chicken is here. I'm going to add a bit of tomato and also chop boiled egg. The tomato is chopped and the egg is boiled, and I'm going to mix it a bit here. You'll see that this filling becomes super creamy, rich in proteins, with simple ingredients that most people have at home. And you can see that it's possible to make a delicious dish like this with fewer calories, more nutritious, and also economical. Here is the chopped raw onion. I'm going to add a bit of parsley here, as I think parsley goes well with chicken. Besides helping to reduce bloating, it enhances the flavor and seasoning, which will make us use less salt, which is always beneficial for our health. Let me mix all of this together. If you want to make a vegetarian filling, you can use the boiled egg with the seasonings, which also turns out very well. I have here a bit of light mozzarella cheese. If you have trouble finding light mozzarella in your city, use the cheese of your choice. If you want to choose a leaner cheese, it will be more interesting, like cottage or ricotta. It will be healthier for you, but you can use the cheese of your choice. I'm going to add a bit of olive oil here to season all of this. Let me add a bit of salt here to season and a bit of oregano. Oregano, besides the flavor, which goes well with tomato and cheese, is also very good for our digestion and even for our immunity. So nowadays, it's really worth doing this. The filling is ready here, mixed. Now let's assemble this delicious dish. The first thing I'm going to do is put it at the bottom here in my baking dish. I already have a glass baking dish here and it's greased with olive oil just so it doesn't stick. So the dough is here. As you can see, I'm going to put a bit of the dough at the bottom. I'll place our filling in spoonfuls here to make it easier to divide. You see that this recipe is super filled. That's why I told you it can serve as dinner or lunch. Coming back, I've already organized everything here. Let's put the rest of our dough. I always like to mix more because since there's cheese, sometimes it settles and stays too much at the bottom. So we're going to put our dough on top of this savory pie to cover all this deliciousness here. Remember that you have other filling options you can make as well. Later we can even talk a bit more about that after it comes out of the oven. I'm going to put it in the oven now at about 180 degrees Celsius, and when I come back, I'll show you how it turned out, tell you how long it took, and I'll also talk about different filling options and substitutions. Be right back. Back with my healthy recipe. I just took it out of the oven. It was in there for about 30 minutes. In your oven, check if it needs a little more or less time. I'll put it here and cut a piece so you can see how it looks inside. Hold on. The smell is wonderful. It's incredible. You can already imagine from the spices I used. It has this super creamy consistency because of the tomato. If you want it drier, you don't use tomato. It's up to personal taste. I think it being creamy is amazing. Make it at home, then tell me what you think. Leave your comment when you make it. Like the video, as it helps me a lot. And if you know someone who will like this recipe, needs more different, healthy tips, share this video. Let's together expand our chain of good. That's what I want here with the channel. See you next time. I'll cut a piece to eat. I can't resist. Bye.